did in person before we ever did Zoom, so it's kind of flipped normally.
I know, right? Yeah, like
Yeah,
I think you were actually. Firstly, welcome back. It's great to see you
yeah.
again. You look
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Yeah, I think
Thank
you
you.
were potentially one of the first acts that we did in person from a venue as well.
Yeah, it's a little harder to do than a studio.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You actually got to make sure you look good because you can't edit, in post or
Yeah.
anything like that.
And
Channel
then
filter.
people just make noises. Somebody's hacking up something in the background or whatever.
Also, you don't get really cute animals in the background. You've generally got bad like band dudes that haven't showered for days on the
Oh,
road.
yeah.
So,
Just back hair everywhere in the green room.
how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying the heat over here. You guys are, bundled up.
Yeah, dude, it's been pretty cold here, and I've got my missus' family is out for the first time ever from Scotland at the moment, and I went to Scotland in December, and I was like, oh, it's fucking freezing, but they reckon over here there's a different sort of chill to the air in
Yeah.
Australia, whereas it doesn't get as cold, but our winter has this I don't know crisp chill. I don't know.
Oh, I felt it on that Alpha Wolf tour. It was because I was like, this isn't even that cold. I don't know why I'm freezing. But also a lot of the buildings don't have very good heat. It's just kind of like some heat lamps.
So that's the other thing as well is we are way more set up for the heat than we are for the cold,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that my girlfriend's family have noticed. Over there, it's just like radiators, fireplaces, all that sort of stuff.
Well, they don't have AC figured out over in Europe. It's pretty miserable too. It's nowhere near as hot as like Texas or Australia, but it's just like no AC.
Yeah, where is the most uncomfortable place you've been on tour
Um,
in terms of weather?
if it's, I think cold weather is so much worse than hot. So I'm gonna say it's definitely North America, like up at near Montreal area. Like I walked out of the venue one day and it was like negative 20 Celsius or something like that.
Holy shit!
And my hair, because I got out of the shower and then some of the guys were going to get food and I was like, yeah, I'll go run. And my hair like had pieces freezing on like just the 5 minute walk.
Oh
America
no!
goes so super hot and then just like crazy cold.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, speaking of lovely places to visit in good weather, let's start by talking about the triumphant return to Australia early next year.
During the summer.
During the summer, yeah. So you're going from frozen hair in that one
Yeah.
to absolutely sweating your butts off in the middle of summer over here.
I will take the summer all day than me like curled in a ball like in Tasmania at a
Dude,
venue looking for just the smallest little space heater to sit in front of.
100%, man. And like the other thing is the majority of an Australian tour is the biggest stretch is the East Coast. And you're like
Yeah.
moments from a beach at any given time. So hell, finish the set, walk off stage, jump in the van, head straight to Bondi or, you know, Coolangatta and jump straight in the water.
And Australia has the best beaches from my experience.
We are pretty lucky. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
there's just beaches everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's because about 80% of our country is completely unusable because it's nothing but an
Yeah.
arid desert and nobody wants to live there.
I've met the people that live there. No offense to anyone,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they're from breed.
That's
I
it.
think you have to be to live out there.
I think so. Yeah, I think that anyone that lives where nature is basically trying to make your life as miserable as possible, you got to be
You're trying
colorful to
to,
say the
yeah, they're
least.
actively trying to kill you at all times.
I mean, but that's like all of our wildlife here anyway. So
Yeah.
I saw
The cool.
I saw the boys from Memphis and Atreya are out here at the moment, and I'm going down to catch up with Maddie and that tonight actually. And I saw that they got to do the obligatory koala holding in
Yeah.
Queensland. Did you do that yourself?
I have done it. I don't think I did it the last time with Alpha Wolf, but the way that schedule was just like awful. It was play a show, get to the hotel room at 1, lobby call at 3, get on a plane. So you get the hotel for 2 hours. I was
Yeah,
just any moment I wasn't playing a show, I was sleeping or trying to sleep. So I don't remember if I did the koala hold. I for sure did it our first time. You have to do it.
I
They
think
have
that's the
they're so high on eucalyptus that
oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolute
they're
rockheads. Yeah. Incredible creature though. Incredible creature.
oh yeah.
Um, I think that's the thing about the Australian tour as well is just because of how sparse the country is. People don't realize how big the country actually is, and when you're on a tour here, it's pretty much a play a show, sleep, lobby call, fly, play a show, sleep, lobby call, fly.
Yeah.
It's a it's a crazy schedule when you come back to places like Australia. Obviously, this is plots run you're coming out on. Um, is that sort of something that you guys try and consider and try and plan around when you are booking places like here? You know, like let's try and give ourselves a little bit of time. Or at that point, if you're trying to give yourself a day between every show, does it
Yeah.
then just become a bit too long and too expensive?
It's actually it is balancing like the finances. That's part of what like now when the plot knew was interested in having us on the tour, I was like, what's the schedule? That was my first question because when I was 22, I could pretty much sleep anywhere or just not sleep. I think that's how most people in their like teens through your early 20s,
Yeah.
you're like invincible and then you just hit this wall, you know, around 30, and now I'm like 34, and it's just like the idea of 2 hours of sleep. I might like, I felt like I was dying in 2022 and I was like 31.
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
if I could make it on another one where it's like, I think that we did the numbers. It was like after 5 days, we had like 9 hours of sleep total in a like in a bed. The rest
Yeah.
are just whatever you can get on the airplane. Which I mean, the flights are like kind of far, not super far, not enough to like get super deep sleep. You're still
No,
like
it's like
playing
an
for two to
hour.
three, an hour and a half to
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you find that in terms of because obviously like when you're doing sort of an American tour or a UK or tour or something like that, you've got the van or the bus or whatever because the cities are quite a lot closer together. So you're
Mm,
driving and I mean you may be driving for longer than you're in a plane, but you don't have to do the airport, the luggage, the check-in, the waiting, the check-out,
yeah.
all that sort of stuff. What do you prefer?
I definitely prefer the tour bus life. I think touring in the US or just North America is like so easy. I'm spoiled because it's not just having the bus everywhere. There's no border crossings. There's no like currency changes, which is more of a thing with like Europe touring, European touring, you're like in 13 different countries. Six of them have the euro, five of them have their own thing. Then there's the pound. Then there's different laws in each country. So like Europe's easy. You're in a bus, but it's
Yeah.
just like, which border do we have to wake up for, and which one needs to see carnets? Which one? It's just in America, it's like you cross the Canadian border,
And that's
and
it.
that's it. And you can
Yeah.
play like 70 places in America and have an amazing show. So
Yeah.
no, American touring is easy. We're spoiled.
Yeah, and you guys are veterans at this point anyway, so I suppose it all just becomes routine now, doesn't it?
Honestly, I still don't know if I have a routine for Australia. We'll see how this next one goes. So
Is there
I have
anything
the
you've picked
European
up?
and American ones down, but I think Australia is a whole other breed because of the, like you said, the flying.
Yeah, is there anything you've picked up, with your few times out here that you're like, righto, I need to make sure that this time I do this. This time I need to make sure I set my watch to what Australia is going to be so I can try and line up with their sleep schedule or anything like that.
I think, it's hard because each time has been so different in how we travel. Like the Alpha Wolf tour was the first one we flew. Then the other ones were us in a 12 passenger. The first one was a 12 passenger with no trailer with two bands,
Wow.
which was also the plot new. That was back in 2012, 2013. So we got real close with them back then. And then we did in Fair Verona with them. We shared a 12 passenger, but we had a trailer, still had to do all the driving through the outback and all that. And then the third one was with Alpha Wolf. Then we're on plane. So I almost haven't even had a chance to like know what a routine is because
It's
it's
like,
been
yeah.
different. But I have a feeling this time with the plot news is going to be way more similar to what it will look like every time. So now I'm going to really put in the work on like, all right, I need to figure out like a routine that works. It's also not as long of a tour. And usually like in Europe, you're there for 3 to 5 weeks, or America.
Yeah, yeah,
And so the first week is like getting your body adjusted. But in Australia, it's like if you take a week to get your body adjusted, then you're like going home in 3 days.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So by the time you finally sort of climatize, it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
time to go
Tour's over.
home. All right. So what are tour essentials when you come, when you go on these longer tours, and whether it's something that keeps you entertained on a flight, whether it's something that you need while you're away from home. I'm not talking standards. We know you're going to need underwear and a phone and a laptop and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. What are your tour essentials to take with you somewhere?
Well, I was gonna say the first thing that pops in my head that's like boring is air. Like you got to have AirPods or you got to have something, but that's a given. That's up there with the phone.
Yeah, but that's one of those things that is so fucking easy to forget, man. Like I have done the smaller trips, like
Yeah,
just to Queensland or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I don't have my AirPods. This is going to be the worst hour and a half ever.
you need your not just the music, but the ANC is nice. Even just turning on the ANC to
Yeah,
not have all the noise around, especially on airplanes.
that's it. Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm gonna bring my Switch 2 on the Australian tour, so
Hell yeah.
like that. I haven't toured with it yet, but I imagine it'll be amazing for tour because the Switch was okay for it, but the Switch 2 is way better than the last Switch. So
Yeah. Oh, you got the
I'd
Switch
imagine that'll
too?
be great. Oh yeah,
Oh,
right.
okay. Dude, we need to nerd out for a moment
Big
then.
guy.
Hell yeah, man. That is okay. So, what games have we got so far?
I have Mario Kart because that came with it, and then
Yeah.
MLB The Show. But that's all that. And MLB The Show doesn't even have a Switch 2 patch, so I'm kind of just
Uh,
playing it like normal. But I have Donkey Kong pre-ordered, and then
nice.
I'm gonna play Super Mario Odyssey. That'll probably be in my like
You can play
kind of
the you can play
my
the
Europe game.
Switch One games on it as well, right?
You can, right? And like
Yeah.
games like Odyssey have like a Switch 2 patch, so it runs better. Same with like
Yeah.
Zelda and all that, which I haven't played any Zelda games, so I might, maybe I'll try Breath of the Wild. I know that's a huge time commitment, but we're
Yeah,
also going to Europe this summer playing festivals, so there's a lot of dead time.
Oh, dude, you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time.
Yeah,
I want to ask about Mario Kart though. Is it true that the new one is essentially open world
it is kind of. There's
to
like
an
an open
extent?
world, like there is an open world thing, but it's like I don't ever do it. I
Yeah,
just do the race. There's not
the
like a
race.
ton happening in the. It's good for like exploring shortcuts and stuff because you're not like racing,
Right.
so you can like mess around with the environment and like find cool things for when you do go race, which I guess that
It's
would be really useful because it sucks doing like a race, finishing the whole race, you get one shot at this shortcut and then you have to like restart the entire
oh
race.
yeah. Yeah, that would anger me to a massive point.
I'm almost
Um,
discouraged because people are so good at that game that I'm like, I just don't even try anymore because I'll never be as good as those people.
yeah, that's one of the games that we have. Like, if we're gonna have family game time, Mario Kart
Just
is
easy to
what you
put
go
on.
to. It's so easy, man. But it's also
Yeah.
really, really upsetting to lose to your children. Do you get that? Because I find
Oh
that
yeah.
kids are
I don't
kids are
lose to my
so
children. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
so good at games now, man. Like it's wild.
I was telling my wife the other day, I was like, I'm getting frustrated because I like to play a lot of sports games, and I know baseball is not as big in Australia, but the baseball game I play is very timing oriented, like split
Yeah,
sec, like real baseball.
yeah.
Um, and I told her, I was like, I can feel my reaction time just slowing down. Like I'm so much worse at this because I've been playing it for like 10 years.
Yeah, it's like this is
Like
supposed to be
people throw
fun.
a fastball and I like can't process fast enough to hit the button. I
Yeah,
have to like
it's
get a
like,
good night's sleep to play the game.
but instead, yeah, I play games like that and I go to bed sitting there thinking, cool, this was supposed to be fun, and I've just spent an hour being reminded how slow and old I'm getting.
Yeah, that's basically how it is.
That's cool. All right, so the Switch is one. That's a good one. I did see. I can't remember who it was, but I recently saw. What band was it? We went to catch up with a band, and it was it was an international as well. And they were outside. They had like a Magic the Gathering or something set up.
Yeah.
I was like, that is a huge commitment to take on tour.
I
That's
don't think I'll bring that to Australia. I've been Honestly, I think I went so hard on Magic for a while that I even like burnt myself out a little. So now I limit it to like I'll play once a week with some friends. And then
Yeah,
I even on tour, like unless there's a big group now that will like consistently play, I just won't bring it, or I'll bring one deck just in case some friends come out. I
yeah,
think it's because I also think I got burnt out playing because I used to like go play with random people online or go to the card shop, or I think I got burnt out playing with random people because so many people are just annoying. So I think like they're complaining, and I was like, oh yeah, this is why. And maybe I'm just getting older and everybody annoys me. It's like, but
No,
that's
but this is, dude, this is the thing with stuff like that is that some people, it becomes their entire identity. It becomes their life. Like it's
it's like,
so
hey man, it's not
important
that
to them.
serious. Like
Yeah.
chill
No,
out.
but it is. But it
Yeah.
is, dude. Don't tell me it's not serious. The other thing is like I would love to try and get into things like Magic and Dungeons and Dragons and all those sorts of those
Mm-hmm.
games. My problem is with something like Magic, it has the card element, and I am a serial collector. Like I'm such a sucker. I will blow way too much money on those
Oh yeah.
cards, and
The
they
Final
keep coming
Fantasy
out.
set got me off of buying cards because of how expensive they were. I was like, that's I'm drawing the line. I'm not buying any of that because it's just
Yeah,
like a collector box, which was 12 collector packs, which is the ones that you can get the big pools in, are going for like $800. And
yeah,
I'm
it's
like, no shot. No, so I even just started like there's like a digital thing on here where if you're playing with friends online, you can just play with digital cards that you don't even have to
yeah.
pay money. Or
I
so
love
I'm
that.
just keeping it to where it's the game and I'm getting out of the collecting part of it
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
because it is I went way too hard, way too fast on it because like just like you, if I'm it's just addicting to open up packs and stuff like that.
It's Man, I found myself going down TikTok rabbit holes of people opening Pokemon cards and Lorcana cards, and I'm
And you're
just
like,
like,
I don't even know what half these Pokemon are.
yeah. But I'm like, but it's shiny and it's pretty,
Yeah.
and you said it's worth money, so I want in.
And it's funny
It's
because they're like, I pulled a $20 card, and you forget they paid like 50 for the pack.
Yeah, yeah. So my again, my missus family that's out here at the moment, her nephew is right into this stuff, and we went out. We got a lot of cool collectible stores here, and he bought a bunch of the Magic cards the other day, and there's like the Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings ones now, and I'm like, I don't play this game, I don't collect these cards, but I freaking love Lord of the Rings,
Oh,
so
so seeing the
I just
characters on it and stuff is
yeah,
so
I
cool.
so now I just have to go and buy like 200 packets of these things. Just
Yeah.
I have to.
I
I
went
mean,
very hard on Lord of the Rings because that was the first like collab they did where I was like, I'm very into like I love Lord of the Rings. They've done other collabs like Dungeons and Dragons and Fallout and Final Fantasy, but I was never like super into any of those. But
yeah.
the Lord of the Rings one got me.
Man, they know how to make money. They know just how to like, especially with nerdy stuff like that. If you consider nerdy, they just really know
Yeah.
how to get money out of
Oh, it's
people.
nerdy.
Yeah.
It's that's why I had to chill out. I didn't want my wife to start looking at me with the ick.
But you know what? The best thing
Yeah,
is like
that's
it's worn like a badge of honor, man. There's yeah, as far as the common person is concerned, there's no one cooler than rock stars or sports stars or movie stars, and they're all into that shit now.
it's because you have to balance it out.
Yeah.
So it's like
Uh,
as long as you're doing something really cool that's not that, if that's the only thing you do, then it becomes like problematic almost.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, so obviously we touched on the fact that you guys are out here with Plot, which is, dude, that's a massive lineup for Australians, as you know. Like it's a long way to come, and we that for a long time we felt like we weren't getting a lot of bands coming out together, or we'd have to wait years and years to see our favorite bands. But that is an absolutely killer couple of bands up the top of that bill,
Yeah.
and we're very stoked for it. And one can only assume that being on tour with Landon, there may be a little bit of a bro moment on stage for a certain song.
That's what I'm hoping. I actually haven't brought it up to him yet, but so I don't want to speak for him and be like, he'll be doing it every
Yeah.
night. Book it. Um, I will definitely be asking him if he wants to do it.
it's such
And
a it's a golden
yeah,
opportunity.
I know. I have a feeling. I'm not going to say he will. I have a good feeling that he'll do it. I think
He's
the
such
only scenario he wouldn't is if his voice was not feeling
Yeah.
up to it, which I would never force someone to do extra vocals, especially when they're headlining. these huge shows, but
exactly. But he's also inhuman. And I remember, I
he'll
think it was
he'll never lose his voice.
no, I think it was maybe not the last time, but the time before we were um we were backstage before the show, and he's sitting there going, "Oh man, like I don't know how I'm gonna go tonight. My voice is, you know, absolutely trash. Like I'm sick as
And
hell."
he
And I'm
sounded
like,
flawless.
dude, flawless." And I was just like,
Yeah.
fuck this guy, man. That's not fair. That's not
I've
cool."
learned a lot of times when people, because I've said that too, and then people are like, oh, you sounded fine. And I was like, I think what it is it feels worse than it normally does, but it feels worse than it sounds,
I think
basically.
as yeah, because as well, when you're a vocalist, it's not like if you're a guitarist or a drummer, like a stick can snap at any time, a string can snap at any time, a guitar could just go out of tune, whatever. But being a vocalist, especially guys like you and Landon that have been doing it for so long, you spend so long practicing and getting to know your voice because that's how you have control over it. Is
Yeah.
being fully in tune with how your body feels at any given moment. And I was the same, man. I would get even the slightest little tickle in my throat before shows, and I'd be like, tonight's the night I lose it. Tonight's the night I have a shit
Yeah.
show. And you're right. Sometimes it's worse, but sometimes you're
But
right,
the
and it
adrenaline takes
sucks.
over a lot of times.
It does. It does. It's just hard having that sort of that pre-notion of like, oh damn, this could be the one where I play a bad show. And you really got to
Yeah.
try and get yourself out of that headspace as well. How do you sort of get yourself out of those headspaces if you can feel tonight might be the night?
I mean, I usually just am really bummed all day, which sounds depressing. I won't sugarcoat it. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm going to blow it. I'm going to sound bad. And then even days it's rough, I watch the videos and I'm like, okay, that wasn't that bad. So I kind of
Yeah.
just have to like keep reminding myself, like, it's going to be fine. Like, and I have to really be cautious of not like, because I have a bad habit of if I feel like my voice is rough, I'll try to like scream throughout the day because I want like assurance that it'll sound fine. But that's not
Yeah.
me resting my voice.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
Fair.
I don't want the first thing I like go out and do to be bad. So I need to make sure it's fine throughout. So I have to tell myself, chill out. You're not letting your voice rest if you like, or keep checking if it's getting better or not.
Do you have any of the hard line in the sand of right? I'm not allowed to talk at this point before a show. I need to drink this amount of water every show day.
I think whenever I feel my voice really feeling rough, I don't do a lot of vocal rest, which I should. I don't get that loud anyways. This is like how loud I get off stage. I normally just try to keep my voice pretty monotone throughout the day and not yell. The times I've lost my voice the worst is when I like go out to the tape merch table during the show and have to yell
Yeah.
over the music, and someone's like, tell me what this song is about. Then I end up having to yell an entire like song's meaning. But
Yeah, and then you got the like he's such a nice guy. He talked to us for so long, but he's really sucked live.
yeah, and it's like, and then people are like, why don't you come out to the table? I'm like, because I have to go scream for an hour every night, and I would love to, but it's so loud over there.
Yeah.
But that's also I don't like go to bars or anything after the show for the exact same reason. Like that's just music blaring and everybody talking. Even though I'd love the camaraderie, but I also like feeling better on stage. Um, but
Yeah,
they're also
at some point it's a job. First and
it is your
foremost, you want
job, and people
yeah.
are gonna roast you online if you sound bad, and I just get envious of just like drummers, and I'm envious until they have their issues. Then I'm not envious anymore. I'm not
Yeah,
envious when
but
they have to buy stuff.
we also know that there's something about drummers. In all my years of playing music and playing in bands, I've known there's to be a drummer in a band, you have to have something a little bit weird about you. Like you have to be kind of that. You have to have that sort of those social quirks where it's like I don't want to be around everyone, but also I want the attention, and it's kind of that sort of push and pull.
You I think you hit the nail on the head. There's always something with I like my first band's drummer disappeared, got arrested, never heard from him again. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, I still to this day. I mean, I think he's okay. I don't. It was like 18 years ago.
Wow.
He probably served his sentence by this point, whatever it was. I don't know. Then like I just have thought about like I had the other drummer, we had a huge falling out over stuff, like an argument. I don't know. There's just like every story I can think of that's like kind of crazy involves a drummer.
Yeah.
Luckily, Trey, our current drummer, has none of those like attention seeking traits. He's just like, but he also said he has no inner dialogue. So that's weird in a different way. So I was like, wait, so you're just there and you're just blank. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I guess that's better than getting arrested. But
Yeah, and disappearing for 18 odd
like,
years.
I'm never worried Trey is going to do anything bad.
Well, yeah, that's a positive, especially when you're in other countries where laws
Yeah.
are different. Yeah, there's
But
certain
I'm always
countries.
worried. I'm worried he's like dead sometimes. And then he's like, oh, no, I'm still here. And I'm like,
Each their own, man. Hey,
yeah,
dude, let's talk the new album. Congratulations. It's an absolute belter, start to finish, man. Genuinely impressed, dude. And like,
thank you.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, man. Like, you're my missus Amy's favorite band, and when we first got together, and even now, I've had like 2 years of her hammering the Fit for a King back catalog in the car all the time,
Yeah.
to the point where I'm like, it's okay, babe, I'll drive today. Like, and it's not
That's
because I've
funny.
heard you too much. It's
Yeah.
because I'm like, I don't want her to ruin it for
Every
me.
time.
It's like, go
Yeah.
ahead. It's like, fuck you, Rome. No, so dude, but congratulations, man. It's an absolute belter. And the thing that has impressed me the most about it is, and you guys have always been good about this, but it's the way that you structure an album and the dynamics that you guys have in an album. You're a band that have a sound and do your thing, and you manage to stay in that lane, but always progress and always find new ways to sort of bring the listener back for a moment of sort of melody or somber feeling, and then just absolutely kick them in the teeth with some of the heaviest
Yeah.
shit that you've ever dropped on each album. Is that a conscious thing when you guys write an album, or is it just what comes naturally because you're just freakishly talented and it's very annoying?
I don't want to say it's talent. It's just us. We all came from such different backgrounds with what we like. And it's always been a struggle to like kind of rein those in into a product that makes sense. Because like my vocal inspiration, like when I started screaming, was a lot of Whitechapel and a lot of A Day to Remember, which even A Day to Remember is like low screams. It's not
Yeah.
even like, so I grew up just listening to all these like brutal low screams, and but I also liked Under Oath, and I also liked As I Lay Dying a lot, which I guess they also kind of did the lower screams a lot of times. But then you have Tuck, who was growing up listening to a lot of like brand new Dashboard Confessional. Or Bob was huge into the Acacia Strain and Pending Doom. Every Time I Die.
Oh,
Then
dude, every time I die.
and
Shed
it's
it,
kind
shed
of
a tear.
like I know it's sad.
Very.
R.I.P. Um, but I think so. There's always been this struggle of like I've always wanted these elements in the band, but I didn't know how to do it. And I think songs like Witness the End are like a perfect example of like me in the band attempting to like infuse like deathcore, black metal, orchestral stuff, but in a Fit
Yeah.
for a King way. Because it's what we've always tried to say, like Fit for a King has a sound. We've been around for over 10 years now, and this is our eighth record. So there is an expectation, but it's like you said, how can we stay in the lane but push things further? Like how can we write an ultra metal song, but it still feels like you're listening to a Fit for a King song and not a cover of another
Mm.
band? And I think the biggest thing is we're just writing music we all like, and we finally found ways to kind of like fuse it all into one sound and stay within the lane. And I think with each record we like widen the lanes, like add more
Yeah.
lane to it each time, but not too fast, or else it would feel like not genuine.
Yeah, I think that's pardon me. I think that's the thing with, and this is something that, the stuff that I mentioned about those dynamics and staying in your lane but widening the lane is something that you've done on each album, especially for like the last three. So when it gets to, like you said, your eighth album or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I think that lane of acceptance from fans and expectation that we're going to get things that are a little bit different but not too different, kind of uh, I'll say soften the blow, but not in a bad way. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
fans are kind of never going to be curveballed into going, oh, why would they try and do something like that? And it's admirable when bands try that sort of thing, um, because as you know, as an artist, you don't want to feel, the last thing you want to do is feel stagnant or bored,
Yeah.
when you're trying to be genuine and create art. But some bands go for that. They go for that curveball, and it just doesn't resonate with the fans.
Yeah. And it's one of those things like the bigger the swing, the bigger the miss. But also sometimes you hit it and it
It
just
also goes out
like
of the
brings you the
park. Yeah.
horizon.
Yeah.
Um, but
Perfect
then you have
example.
bands pivot to like they go from being a super heavy metalcore band to like a radio band, and they do it super fast, and then they lose all their fans.
Yeah,
And it
100%. Yeah.
but it's like sometimes. So I guess we've never been the band that goes like too big on the swings, but we're always swinging. It's just like a little more safe, compact swings than it is like the gigantic, like we're gonna hit you with just like an R&B song out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like we'll get there, but we plan on being a band for a while, so we can get there in a few records.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it 100% is like that. And I would say, I would go back to baseball and say it's kind of like that, where you guys are just doing the right hits to get everyone on their bases and
Yeah,
get everyone home. But there are some home runs on your albums. There's some absolute home runs. I mean, on this album, like Between Us is one that sort of
yeah.
caught me a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is fucking beautiful. This is gorgeous. And it
That's
gets
one of my sleeper
sandwiched
tracks that I think fans are gonna like a lot. They won't even know they wanted a song like that on the record till they hear
100%.
it.
And you sandwich it between absolute chaos. And
Yeah,
I think that's a bold move, but this is one of those moments where you show that you can show the extremes of what you guys do and execute it perfectly. But I'm going to ask a couple of tough ones. If
hmm
you had to cut one song from the album, what would it be and why?
um, it's hard not to say Technium only because it's been out longer than
I
ever. So
picked it. I was like, I know what the answer is going to be.
fresh.
Yeah.
Um, if I can't pick Technium just because it's older than everything else, every artist is so excited about their newest stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I would have to say Blue Venom, not because I don't like it. Obviously, we like every. It's why it's a hard question.
Yeah.
Just because I think there's so many other amazing heavy songs on the record, and I think a lot of the melodic ones just have so much to offer with their melody that it'd be hard to cut a melodic one. But then I also don't want to cut some of the like bigger heavy songs. So
Because you know
I'm
they go
popping out
absolutely
the
nuts live.
shortest song.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that you guys have definitely pushed the level of heaviness on this one as well.
That was a big
Um,
goal. Like even Trey, when we were in the studio, we were listening through. This is like the last couple days in the studio, and he was like, "Go lower there." Like every one of these parts I'm pointing at, you need to scream lower. And he's like, "You can do it. Why don't you ever do it?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just
that's a good question. I mean, he's got you there.
yeah." So we went and re-recorded a bunch of the parts to do the screams even lower.
Is
Because I
that
guess in my
something?
head I had this filter of like, well, it doesn't fit, or like it's not like a deathcore song, and he's just like, who cares? It sounds cool, and that's really the only reason you
He's
should
got a
have
point.
it. Yeah,
Is that one of those moments where you kind of feel, up until this record, obviously, that at times like that, you're like, maybe I should stay in my lane here. Like I don't want to feel like I'm pushing that sort of heaviness for the sake of it, or
I think it's a mixture of that, and I've always been conscious of like, well, I don't want to do it all the time, so when I do it, it hits
yeah,
even harder. But then Trey pointed out, he's like, well, you barely do it to the point where it's like you haven't even come close to the limit of like people being tired of it yet.
yeah, that's a very
He's like,
good
so you
point.
should just do it more. It's not like it's not like you're doing it every single song, but you did it like twice on a 13 song record. It's like you can do it a few more times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I
Well,
mean, I think that was his good input. I was like, don't tell me you don't have an inner dialogue.
I was just about to say, it
Yeah,
sounds like
that's
he does have an inner dialogue. Yeah, just when it comes
yeah,
to your vocals, this is what I want.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, what songs are you looking at playing most? And obviously, you've dropped a bunch of singles. The album will be out by the time you get here. So we are 100% looking forward to seeing some of these live. But which of the new tracks that you haven't played yet are you most looking forward to? Which one do you think is going to resonate with the crowd the best? Which is
I'm
always
really
a hard thing to sort of
it is.
be.
I mean, I'm really excited to play I always like the heavy stuff. I think Extinction Live is just going to be a blast, especially with like how the song builds up at the beginning and just
Also, a different
getting the
vibe.
pit to open up. And
Yeah, it's also a different vibe. That one, it's quite
yeah.
slow and drudgy and very dark sounding.
And I love how it goes from the temple into Extinction, which we'll for sure be doing live, at least on the first few tours the album's out. I'm just a big fan of that.
Hell yeah, yeah. That's definitely
Yeah.
gonna be live a moment for fans to enjoy. When it comes to crafting, because I mentioned before about how well the dynamics in this album have gone. You know, the peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows. How hard is it for you guys when you have such a mix now to pick the perfect? Because you've got, like, if you're going melodic, heavier, melodic, heavy, heavy. How hard is it for you guys to pick which ones are going to sit in those spots?
I think we after every studio session would sit at we were in an Airbnb for 6 weeks. We would sit in the hot tub at the Airbnb and just put on the music. And as soon as we would start working on the order, and we would kind of talk and say, does this feel like too many heavy songs in a row? Like, do you feel like you need a break? And we would just try to go, like, if we were at a show, do you think this song is less heavy because there's two heavy songs right before it? Okay, let's put a song that maybe fades in and fades out. And that's how, like, Between Us ended up in between
Yeah,
two heavy songs, because we want those songs to hit hard and feel heavy. And we felt like back to back, they almost took away from each other because it's so much heavy back to back. Like, because if you
yeah,
hear Extinction, then immediately after it goes into Lonely God. Lonely God doesn't feel like as heavy because the last song was crazy heavy. But when you put like No
yeah,
Tomorrow right after Extinction, it's like, okay. And it's like, okay, it's nice. A nice open melodic song to kind of cleanse the palate. It's like palate cleansing your
yeah.
between songs.
It also does, like you said, it you don't want to take away from the heavier moments or the more melodic moments as well. You don't want the more melodic moments to come out after the heaviest thing you've ever written and it sounds
Yeah.
juxtaposed and people go, oh, like, you know, like, and don't give the melody or the heaviness the credit it deserves.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a tough one though. All right, I'm not talking in a live sense. Which
Mm-hmm.
is your favorite song in the album? Which are you most proud of with your vocal performance, with the performance of the band? What has been the song on this album that's like, oh, that could be up there with the best songs we've ever done?
I love Witness the End. I Because that's just the style of music I've always loved. And if anyone doubts that, I have receipts from when I was like 19 years old of literally writing way worse versions of that song, where it's like orchestral metalcore with deathcore and like a chorus. But it's always been something where I was like, I don't know if Fit for a King can do that. Like, that's, I don't know. But I love how that song turned out. I think the vocals are so metal sounding, but it also
Yeah.
has like the big anthemic chorus, but it doesn't feel like it's forced into the song, which is such a hard thing to do, in my opinion, with
You
music
say
like
that,
that, where
man,
it's
but
blast beats and all that.
I, yeah, I respectfully I disagree. You say that, but you guys nail that every single time. There's not a single Fit song that I've heard, and this is not just blowing smoke. This
Yeah.
is legitimate. Where it feels like the chorus doesn't belong, and I think that is one of the main points that has made you guys a mainstay in metalcore.
Well, that means a lot because it's something we've consciously worked on. Like, even the big step on this record was like adding a lot more grit to my vocals to make the parts blend even more, which it's probably very noticeable, especially with Begin the Sacrifice and all that, that
Oh,
there's like way
one of
more
the best
grit.
moments on the album. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
just way more grit on the singing vocals at parts. So they're not like always, it doesn't always have to be there's screams and then there's cleans. Like, I want to do more to blend.
Yeah, it's definitely turned out that way. Dude, I'm very pumped that you've mentioned you're going to be playing a few of these live.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah.
everyone wants to hear the old bangers. I'm sure that writing a set list, especially for a place like Australia that you can only get to once every few years.
Yeah, it's hard because you got to throw in some old school ones for the longtime fans.
Yeah, for sure.
Which
Have
now
you
Dark
guys?
Skies is old school. Which that's the question for you. Is Dark Skies old school? That's the question I've been asking people. It's almost 8 years old.
I mean, I guess it has to be, right? Like, I think any band's earlier work still has to be considered old school, but
But that's why it's like, how old do you feel that Dark Skies is like? That's the earlier work because it doesn't feel that way. But I know a lot of people are like, it's old school and it has a 10-year anniversary or it's old. I was like, but there's like 3 albums
yeah, you guys have dropped
after
some
it.
albums.
Yeah.
You don't wait too long between albums. I love that.
This was the longest we've waited since we put out our Creation Destruction. It's a 3 year gap, which we normally don't go that long, but
That is, I feel like that's usually the album cycle for
yeah,
most
for
bands,
most bands,
unfortunately.
yeah,
Yeah,
we always did the 2 year.
yeah. No,
We just
well,
love writing. It's my favorite part of being in a band is writing music.
yeah. I can imagine you still get that, like
Yeah.
when you guys are together and you come up with a moment. It's like, oh, that's the moment.
And it's fun to write and fun to mess with different vocal styles and it's fun to show people music and watch reactions of people listening to the music. It's all fun. Like I love that part. I like playing shows, but I'm like if you had to take away like shows or take away my ability to write music, I would choose to write music all day.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that the fans won't be disappointed hearing that, dude.
Yeah.
Um, I know you're a busy man. It's been great catching up. We will see you in what, 6 short months. Very,
Just you won't be in that hoodie anymore.
I
And
won't, man. Dude. I'm starting to get way too heavy set for the summers here. I'll be sweating my ass off. But yeah, very, very excited to catch you guys live. My missus is very excited because it turned out that she was potentially not going to be able to go to the show, but now she can. So we're very
luckily it's so
excited.
far ahead of time with the announcements that you can kind of
We
figure out
can
plans.
we can move
Yeah.
things around. Yeah, dude. We'll definitely make sure we catch up when you guys are out here. We'll do something fun. We might pit you and Landon against each other in, I don't know, some kind of sumo wrestling suit or something.
Hey, that works for me. He's
Or
got a longer reach.
he does. He does. Maybe even some friendly Mario Kart champions.
That also works. I'll have my Switch. I'll be locked and loaded.
Dude, congratulations on the album. It's an absolute banger. I can't wait for everyone to hear it. We've really enjoyed reacting to the tunes on this one as well. So,
And thank you for reacting to it. I watch all the reaction videos, so I appreciate it.
dude, anytime. Always happy to check you guys out. One of our favorites. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. And we'll speak to you real soon.
You too.
Cheers. Thanks, man. Bye bye.